Hello there, all my crafty friends. I'm Donna from Mason Creations, etc., and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a very special Christmas ornament. I'm turning a simple small can of nuts along with some rice paper, air dry clay, and a few trims and ribbons into a beautiful Christmas ornament. My crafty friend Sharon G from Connecticut requested a Christmas drum. So here you go, Sharon. This video is for you. The first thing I'm doing is getting this peanut can ready. I washed and dried the inside of the can, threw away the plastic cover, and removed the label. If you're working with a can that is cardboard like this one, be careful not to soak it too much. Okay, now we're ready to get started. I measured and cut 2 circles to cover the top and bottom of the can. I traced the opening of the can and then made my circles slightly smaller so they would fit inside the rim. The bottom of the can has a slight dip, so I wanted to cover the bottom as well. I'm using foam board, so it's about 1/4 inch thick. It sticks up just a little bit above the top of the can, but that's okay. I'll just fill the gap with beautiful things. I used a peanut can, but you could certainly make this larger and use a coffee can or any type of can for a great table centerpiece. I'm going to paint the peanut can as well as the 2 cardboard circles, and I'm using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Cotton, which is white. This will give me a good base for decoupaging my rice papers. Anytime you decoupage, you want to paint your base either white or an off-white. Any dark colors will leave your image dark and muddy looking. White helps to show all the beautiful, vibrant colors of your image. This and all the products you're going to see me use today came from decoupagenapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. I'll let that dry for about 30 minutes. I'm sponging some Pentart silver paint around the edges of the foam board circles. This will help everything to blend in nicely. Using a sponge gives you a nice blended look. I'm sure you guys have noticed that I use a lot of Dixie Belle and Pentart paints. These are my absolute favorites. They both go on super smooth and creamy with really good coverage. I rarely, if ever, need a second coat of Pentart, and that goes for the metallic colors as well. This rice paper has so many pretty images. It was hard to decide which one to use, but the little girl by herself just kept speaking to me, so she's the one. I just fussy cut the image instead of tearing it. There are going to be so many pretty things around this image that the cut edge won't show. I'm using Polyvine Heavy Duty Wood Varnish as my decoupage adhesive today. Don't let the name fool you. It's good for all surfaces. It's one of my favorites and I use it all the time. All of the Polyvine varnishes can double as a decoupage adhesive. They all work so much better than the popular brand of decoupage glue. They are a varnish, not a glue, so there are no lumps under your image. They dry crystal clear and will never yellow. Not that you'd be eating off this drum, but they are food safe. So, the background of the girl rice paper is a creamy color. In order for everything to match, I needed to blend a little bit of cream paint on the bottom circle. I'm using Dixie Belle in the color Drop Cloth. I'm just blending it together with the silver paint that I already sponged on there. I went back and forth with the silver and cream until I was happy with the result. It's basically ombre painting. If you want to see a tutorial on exactly how to paint ombre, click the banner in the top right corner. I'll also leave you a link in my description box below for that same video. I'm going to stencil a large snowflake on the bottom circle. I'm spraying the back of the stencil with Pixie repositionable stencil adhesive. This keeps your stencil from moving and stops anything from bleeding under the stencil. I put the stencil in the center of the circle and I'm using glitter paste in the color Iridescent. I'm putting it over the stencil with a palette knife and scraping off all the excess, then removing the stencil. When that dries, you'll see all the iridescent glitter in it, and this will need to dry overnight. Make sure you clean your stencil immediately. You don't want anything to dry on your stencils. It will ruin them. I'm going to add some rice paper to the can now. I'm measuring and cutting out sections that are the same size as the can. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. It's fun to see what cities and countries you are all watching from. I'm filming from Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. I tore off the white edges on the sides of the paper because a torn edge is so much easier to blend than a cut edge. And I'll be blending the side pieces together. I'm painting on the heavy-duty wood varnish and then laying my paper on top of the varnish. I'm also painting a layer of the varnish on top as I go. DecoupageNapkins.com has such a great selection of napkins that you can purchase one at a time. They carry many other craft supplies such as rice paper, paint, clay, molds, and a great selection of polyvine products. Over 8,000 products and growing. They are wonderful to work with and will send your order out fast. They offer several automatic discounts when checking out. Subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address and you'll receive 10% off your next order. They are truly your one-stop shop for craft supplies. Make sure you check them out. I'll be leaving links for all the products I use in my description box below. Before I glue the top on, I'm going to add a silver ribbon hanger. I tied a knot and glued it to the inside of the can. Should the glue come loose, the knot will keep it from slipping out. I put glue around the rim of the can and set my decoupage circle in the rim. I put the hanger a little off center for a little bit of interest. With art, it's okay to have things off center and imperfect. I put some painter's tape around the top and bottom of the can to protect the decoupaged rice paper. And now I'm painting the edge of the can around the rim and the sides of the foam board circle silver. I want to make sure everything blends together. I glued the bottom piece in and painted the sides of the foam board silver as well. Send me a comment and let me know what type of project you would like to see next. I love designing projects around your requests. Just be patient with me though, I get a lot of them. I'll definitely get to yours. Sometimes it just takes me a little while. I love hearing from all of you and look forward to reading all your comments and requests. So keep them coming. There's a little bit of a gap between the top and bottom circles and the can rim. I'm putting some silver trim in that gap to help hide it. I measured around the top and bottom of the drum, so I knew where to put the strings, and I believe they're called a snare. If I'm wrong, somebody out there tell me what they are. I placed my mark so I could string it to make a V shape around the drum. I'm using that beautiful silver trim that I used to fill in the gap earlier. I'm using DOS air dry clay to make some embellishments. I'll be putting them around the top and bottom edge of the can to hide where the strings are glued. I'm going to be gluing the clay pieces on while the clay is still wet, so it can form around the can as it dries. DOS clay is a great choice for doing something like this. It's easy to work with and has very little shrinkage when drying. Remember when I said, let's make a mess? This is what I was talking about. I can't stand getting all that glue all over my hands, so I donned some gloves. I centered the roses over top of the V's on the top and bottom of the can. and I have a little bow to put on the V's that don't have a rose. These little beads really fought me. I even put them in the freezer. The next time I make those, I'll use casting resin. I put them on the top and the bottom of the can. I put a coat of heavy-duty wood varnish on the top and bottom of the can to protect my picture. I'm going to be doing some painting, and if I make a mistake, I want to be able to wipe it off. Since I'm using the satin finish, I'll be able to do that. I mixed together the colors rose and country rose with just a tiny bit of the color linen. This gave me the perfect color for my roses and bows. I'm trying to match it with the pink in the rice paper image. Now that I have the perfect pink, I'm painting all the clay roses and bows. I always mix up my paint colors in these little 2-ounce containers. They come with a lid so I can store the paint for at least a couple of days. I don't want to have to try to match the color again if I don't finish my painting right away, and if I need to make any touch-ups later. I always make sure to mix up enough paint to complete my project. I have more Christmas videos coming up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. And I don't have to mix up a color for the leaves. I'm using country green, and it's a perfect color for this project. I test all the products that I recommend in my videos. I won't recommend anything that I haven't used myself and prefer. If I'm recommending it, you can bet it's a great product. Each product will be listed in my description box below and will have a blue link to make it easy for you to find. Any of the links I provide are safe for you to click on. I'm going to use the color white gold to paint the little clay beads on the top and bottom of the can, as well as the swirls mingled in with the roses. I just love this color. I used to mix gold and silver paint to come up with this color, but Pentart is wonderful enough to do it for me. Their metallic colors are amazing. They cover completely in just one coat. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. And why not share this with a friend? Thanks for doing that. If you'd like to be notified anytime I upload a new video, click the bell. I'm giving the entire piece a coat of heavy-duty wood varnish, and I'm using the satin finish. I'm going to be doing some antiquing, and I need everything to have a glossy finish so I can wipe off the excess antiquing medium. I used a flat brush so I could make sure to get under my silver strings. I let this dry for 2 hours before moving on. I'm going to be making an antiquing wash using a glazing medium and some paint. I'm mixing Pentart paints in the colors platinum and just a very tiny drop of earthy brown with the glazing medium. This will thin out the paint and keep it from drying too fast. This way you'll have plenty of time to work with it. This makes a great antiquing medium. Okay, now it's time to use this beautiful antique. I'm brushing it on and then wiping it off with a soft, dry cloth. It will wipe off the high areas and stay in all the cracks and crevices. The platinum paint gave it some shimmer, and the brown paint darkened it up so that when it settled in the mold details, it accented them. I put the antique over all the rose details as well as under between the rose details and the base of the drum. This made everything stand out by causing shadows for depth and dimension. I made sure to go over, under, and between all the little beads on the top and bottom of the drum. I painted it around the snowflake to add some dimension so it would stand out a little. I let that dry for about an hour. I'm going to add some Pentart fine line crackle to just the picture of the girl. This will give an aged porcelain appearance. It's a two-part system and I'm brushing on component number 1. It goes on white but dries clear. This will take about an hour or so to dry. While waiting for my part 1 crackle to dry, I very carefully painted on a final coat of heavy-duty wood varnish to protect all the antiquing I just did. I set this to the side and let everything dry. Do any of you want to see an in-depth tutorial on exactly how to work with air dry clay? If you do, send me a comment. If I get enough, I'll do a short video on that. Component 1 is dry now, so I'm brushing on component 2. This step is an amber color. Take thin, even strokes. Any buildup or drips will be seen when dry. This will need to dry for about 2 hours and then the cracks can be seen. The crackle is dry now and I have some wonderful cracks. I'm going to accent them by adding some antiquing paste in the color silver. I'm using a soft dry cloth to rub it into all the cracks, then wiping it off the surface so it stays only in the cracks. If you want to see a video on exactly how to use this crackle finish, click the banner in the top right corner. I'll also leave a video link in my description box below. I'll let the antique paste dry for about an hour and then I'll give it a coat of Pentart's solvent-based gloss sealer. You can only use solvent-based sealers on fine line crackle. Anything water-based will ruin your crackle finish. And the best way to clean your brush will be with turpentine. I glued some bronze ball chain right up next to the gold beads on the top and bottom of the drum. Now my favorite part. I just love using metallic wax rubs. They give such a beautiful shimmery highlight. I'm using white pearl and old silver. I use the white pearl to highlight all of the roses, leaves, and bows. Then I use the old silver on the beads to give them more of a silvery glow. I also put it on the scrolls mingled in with the roses and leaves. I just love what this does to your project. I made a bow using some pink velvet ribbon and some shimmery cream organza ribbon. I glued it to the top in front of the silver hanger ribbon and then clipped all the tails of the ribbons. Then added a clear teardrop rhinestone to the center of the bow. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. I put together a playlist with all things Christmas. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that playlist. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.